Thompson's mic.
Can you hear me? Hello, hello? Great, thank you.
Welcome to a live Shaw Sports presentation.
Welcome to the 2018 Scotties Tournament of Hearts. We are in beautiful Victoria, BC at the Victoria Curling Club today for this exciting BC Women's Championships. I'm Emily Moyes, and I am no expert when it comes to curling, but I absolutely love the sport. So we are so lucky to be joined by two professionals, Terry Palinchuk and Melissa Saligo. These women have quite the resume. Terry has 10 years experience competitively. You're the vice chair of Curl BC. Melissa has an Olympic bronze medal for the sport and also a silver at the Worlds, and they know their stuff. It's so great to have them here with us. And the one thing when we were chatting off camera, I noticed your passion for the sport of curling.
Oh, I am passionate about curling. I've been playing it since I was 12, but my partner here, I couldn't be more proud of her. She's one of 2 level 5 coaches for curling in the world.
Wow, in the world, that's incredible.
It's amazing. It's a great sport to be a part of, and I couldn't be happier with all the support I get from the curling family.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, let's talk about the game we're going to see, the 1-2 game that is Thompson versus Van Osch. Can you tell us about Team Thompson?
Yeah, Team Thompson has posted great stats all week. They held on to the #1 spot for most of the week. They were #2 in stats. Their players were all in the mid to high 80s for every game. Their stats in the top 5. I think for that reason, I'm going to give an edge to Team Thompson in this match.
Ooh, that's very exciting. And let's hear a little bit about Team Van Osch.
Well, although Team Van Osch hasn't been at the highest of the stats this week, they make the right shots when they have to, and that's the important thing. They're going to be looking for a little bit more out of their lead, Amy Gibson, today, simply because she hasn't had her best week. But if she puts a good one together today, look out Team Thompson.
Ooh, this is very exciting. I cannot wait to see the game. And do you know what? Here come our curlers now.
Well, here we are, Terry, the 2018 BC Scotties Championship. The 1-2 qualifier game with the winner going on to the final tomorrow, and the loser will be playing in the semifinal tomorrow morning. Team Thompson, Team Van Osch. Should be a good one.
Should be a great one, Melissa. Again, both teams have been really strong all week. Thompson, as we mentioned, near the top of the leaderboard or at the top of the leaderboard all week. And Van Osch has just been creeping their way up.
Both teams have played in this kind of game before. They've been in this position before, but we'll look to Team Van Osch. Not as the same amount of experience at the ladies for sure, but definitely have a lot of junior experience and playing in these final games.
It's my pleasure to introduce
Team Thompson has definitely been here before. Strong representative at the Scotties throughout the line. They're going to want to go back.
The coach, Bill Sherhart. The lead, Amy Gibson. Second, Kalia Van Osch. The third, Marika Van Osch. And the skip, Kessa Van Osch. Representing Kamloops Curling Club and the Golden Years Winter Club, Team Thompson. The fifth, Diane Desura. The lead, Trista Van Dale. The second, Shannon Janice. Third, Kristen Rexsiedler. And the skip, Carla Thompson. Good luck, teams, and good curling.
So what I think we'll see, I don't know, Terry, it's always hard to predict what's going to happen in that first end, but I know that both of these teams have been fairly aggressive for the most part throughout the game, throughout the week. So it'll be interesting to see how they decide to play this 1-2 qualifier, knowing very well that they do have a second chance if they don't come through.
Yeah, for sure, Melissa. Typically what we see in this first end is that teams will play pretty defensively, throw the rocks up and down, keep it pretty clean, couple of ends, settle the nerves a little bit, and, you know, get to know the ice.
And I think that's the key right there is the ice. This ice has been absolutely amazing all week. Mike Merklinger and Cody Hall and their crew have done such a fantastic job. We're talking consistent from the first rock that was thrown, it feels like a week ago or so, to now, where it's been 15 and a half seconds hog to hog, about anywhere from 4.5 almost to 5 feet of curl.
Yeah, what I've been really noticing is that consistent speed with the rocks and the way they can really throw it to their brushers, and their brushers can finish that rock in. If they can manage those stones properly within the, you know, through the break point, and know when to sweep for straight and know when to finish it in, they can really make some great shots on this ice.
And I talked to Mike and Cody right before the game, obviously, just to see I mean, we have different conditions for this final. We've only got the one sheet in use, and we have all of the people. It's been a packed house all week long, and all the people are on one side. So both teams will have to be very diligent in how they check out the ice from the start, make sure that it is doing exactly what they're expecting it to do. They won't take any unnecessary chances until they're 100% sure that the ice is exactly the same as it has been.
Right, and you know, and again, blanking those first end or two, it allows them to bank a little bit of time. You know, each team gets their set amount, 38 minutes? And, you know, a couple timeouts are permitted in that, but if you get into a, you know, a complicated game early, then you might be struggling for time at the end, and neither team wants to be in that position.
That's right, 38 minutes of thinking time per team with 2 1-minute timeouts, and they have some travel time because it's their coaches are seated up top here on the top floor and have to get down to the ice surface, so allowing for that variance.
Live nice. Live nice. 5 seconds good. Move it around. Right here. Line's good. Get a curl big.
So as predicted, we're going to expect Team Van Osch to put that first one in the rings. Amy Gibson, who I mentioned off the top of the show, has struggled a little bit this week. However, she's been out practicing, she's been talking to her team, and she knows what she needs to do. She hasn't actually been in this position before, so this will be a key player that we'll keep our eye on today.
10.5.
Yeah, and she's got a good matchup here between herself and Trista, who has definitely been in this position before, and she has posted really good numbers all week.
Man, clean, roll. Yep, yep, yep. Clean, yep, yep. Clean. Stay with it. Nice. Good shot. Better girl.
I think one of the most important things on this kind of ice surface when it's so fast is that you don't need to throw a lot of hit weight. You don't need to throw that 9.5 even. You can throw that really soft 10, 10.5 and make it extremely controllable for your team to manage.
Hard, guys, right up, hard! Hard, really hard. Hey, girl.
That's right, Melissa. You know, you throw that nice controllable weight and your sweepers can manage it a little bit better, and you have a better opportunity of your rocks staying in the house.
2.5, eh? 2.5.
So with that rollout by Amy Gibson, this gives an opportunity to Team Thompson, to Trista Van Dale, to try and find that draw weight early.
Halfway.
So looking for a tight corner. If it slips in, it's not the end of the world.
Mine's good. 64. Good, Trista.
Nice corner there by Trista. Great shot after throwing a hit on her first.
Kessa's not prepared to take any chances here in the first end, obviously, so she wants to throw the peel. Just keep everything as clean as possible without hammer. You're in one.
Go the other side. A little too tight. Yeah. It was a 9. No, that's not surprising. No, I'm like, oh, okay. No, it's fine. It just catches the curl there and goes really hard. I want it.
As I mentioned, Terry, it's been a packed house here all week, and I think we owe it a lot to our host committee.
Absolutely, Melissa. This crew has worked so hard, and under a pretty tight timeline too. They didn't have a year in preparation for this. They had, I think, 4 to 5 months, which in the whole scheme of things really isn't that long to put together an event like this. One of the comments I heard from someone walking in the building this week was, "Wow, this looks like a national event." That's a great compliment to Danielle Callens and her committee, who worked so hard.
That is a huge compliment. That's fantastic.
Hardly recognize the Victoria Curling Club.
So this is Kalia Van Osch with her second, just trying a peel on the guard that was just thrown by Shannon Jonice.
No mistake.
Same thing.
We actually didn't even know the seedings until yesterday after the last round robin game. We knew that Team Gushtlak, who we'll see later tonight, was playing Team Thompson in that final game, and the winner of that game was going to get the first seed. And you almost would wonder if the loser of that game would get the second seed, but because there was a three-way tie for 5 and 2 for second place, they went to head-to-head first, and each of the 3 teams had beaten each other, and then they went to the draw to the button.
Exactly, and I think that was a surprise to a lot of people when they saw the standings, when they finally fleshed out there and we put the standings up on the leaderboard. People were really questioning it, and we had to explain that to some people of how that decision was made, especially when the head-to-head was couldn't decide who was in second from that. So it shows you how important that last stone draw is. course, the big advantage for the number 2 seed is having that second opportunity.
So Team Van Osch did get the second seed simply because their last stone draw was quite far ahead of the other 2 teams. So tonight in the 7 p.m. game, we will see Team Gushalak and Team Brown play off, with the winner going on to the semifinal, and the loser will be eliminated.
5-6. Good girl.
Nice draw weight there by Kristen Rexealer.
Good bye. Roll. Clea. Hard, Clea. Hard. Hard, hard, hard. Right up to it. Right 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 to it. There, girl. Nice. Yep. Good job. Good. Nice, Reese. Good throw, though.
Gotta say, Terry, I think I'm glad our booth is in here and not out there. It looks very cold out there.
You know, Melissa, I was just going to say something similar. People are bundled up pretty darn good out there. And there's some pretty good noisemakers out there, too, today. So I expect it to get pretty noisy.
Yes, clean. No. 11. Good weight.
That's nice weight, 11 seconds, hog to hog, just perfect manageable hit weight by Kristen.
Good throw. I think that's probably pretty close. Is that what you're giving me in practice? Are you giving you a She's quick. Yeah. I don't feel like I slid very hard at all. No. 5-6. There's like no sweeping or anything. What's wrong?
I just need to.
Oh. Okay. Nice 10? Yeah, nice 10. Nose or a little rolling would be nice.
Okay, they're looking for a nice 10 here, which is a nice control weight.
It's a little hand something. Nice 10? Yeah, nice 10.
Okay, you got it.
Quiet. Yep. Clean, let it come up. Clean. Marika. You're pretty good. 10 and a half or? What time was that? Well, you were 11, so 10-8 is fine. I won't throw more than that.
Okay.
Quiet 10 and a half.
So these two teams first met way back in draw number 1.
Kristen's was 11 and ran nice, so throw a quiet
quite a while
10 and a
ago,
half.
I believe.
Yeah, it seems like a really long time ago now.
That's right, and they played in draw 1 with Thompson beating Van Osch 8-5 in that game. So Carla Thompson with her first here in the first end. And a little wobble.
Yeah, just a little wobble. She corrected really nicely there.
Tristan's way, clean, whoa! Tristan's way, big roll. I do, yeah. Same ice. Bell. It'll come off. That was a 9-8. Same weight.
I think both teams will be happy with this first
What's that?
end. Just up and down and
you don't need those.
Banking some time, hopefully, for later in the game.
Yeah, for sure, Melissa. I think as we expected, this is pretty much what we anticipated what would happen, and might not be surprised to see this happen again in the second end. Shh. I mean, we know the fans are hoping for a little bit more excitement, so let's see what happens.
As are we.
Yeah.
10. All right, come out. Ready? Marika?
They got the stick.
A little firmer, I think.
I think it's hanging on the edge there.
The overhead, it looks like it hung on, and
I think a 9.
Thompson's not going to take a chance here. They're going to peel it out.
She's going to throw a 9 on this one, obviously, because she wants to hit and roll away, blank the end, and retain hammer into the second.
Yeah.
Oh, like a 9.
And the second end is early in a 10-end game, but we do know that teams like to have that hammer in that all-important even end.
Clean, yep! Yep! Hard! Clean! Whoa! Whoa!
And that is not what Carla
Did it roll in?
wanted.
Sorry.
I believe she
that works.
hit and stuck instead of the hit and roll out. So
She
it's
did.
1-0, Team Thompson. You play the whole end for a blank, and unfortunately you get the hit and stick on your last. So she won't be happy with that, but she will get it going for the second end. We will be right back after this quick break.
You know what you got?
When I grow up, I want to be a superhero. I want to be a firefighter. I want to graduate university. I don't know what I want to be. I want to be an archaeologist. I want to be a scientist. Pilot, coach, carpenter. I'm going to be a curling champion.
Kids dream big. Your support will help them realize their dreams on and off the ice.
So here we go. This is the first and last rock by Carla Thompson, and unfortunately was trying to get the blank. They played the whole in up and down the sheet, hoping for that blank. And with that roll by Team Van Osch just hanging around the 12-foot there. The blank attempt here by Carla Thompson, and unfortunately noses it. And just rolls on to get her single in the first end. So Team Van Osch going into the second with hammer. So Trista Vandale threw her first one. It was supposed to be a tight guard, even in the rings would have been okay. Comes about halfway. Because of that, there's no doubt that Team Van Osch is going to draw around it and try and get things going.
Yeah, right around. I'm anticipating top button.
5, 5. Whoa. Whoa, guys. We above T? Okay, that's it. Nice weight. Atta girl.
It's about as perfect as you can get right
I'm
there.
thinking that's pretty perfect, Melissa. Nice shot for Amy.
So Trista's going to try and follow her down, try and freeze to the face of that stone.
Room! 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 Kristen only.
If you can.
They're calling back for her. That's not what you want here.
Yeah, go. That's okay. 14-8.
Looks like the weight was great there, Melissa. Maybe she got it a little bit outside.
You want to
Yeah, and I think
velocity
they
like that?
said that it was heavy early, and because of that, it ran straight for a long time. Didn't pick up the break that they were expecting, so it did end up having perfect weight for sure, but didn't quite finish as hard as it should have. So an open hit here for Amy Gibson on her second.
Clean. Well. Clean. Clear. Clear. Yep. Yep. Line's good. Yep.
What a great roll, keeping those stones as far apart as possible to prevent any possible double.
Yeah.
Well, as you said, Melissa, it looks like Amy's bringing her A game today so far.
Clean. Yep. Yep. To it. Yes. Hard. Hard. Right to it, girls. Right to it. Hard. Anything, Kristen? No, never mind. Good. Good. 10-6.
Nose is fine. 10.5.
What Team Van Osch might want to be careful about here, Terry, is as they keep nosing this stone, if they leave it where it is, eventually it's going to get to a spot that's high enough where there might be a double opportunity for Team Thompson. So I just want to be very aware that a nose is fine, but maybe roll it a little bit to try and prevent setting up any double.
Absolutely, Melissa, and that's what obviously Team Thompson is hoping for here.
Atta girl.
And that's
Nice
absolutely
roll.
perfect.
You'd think they were listening to you, Melissa.
90 on that one. How you doing? Nice shot. Yep.
Shannon Jonice with her first here in the second.
Hard.
Called it early right out of her hand. She might have got it going a bit. Maybe Shannon just got that one going a little bit. It over curled and hits and rolled out. So
You like there, or we can go here? Okay, I like that. Top 8, top 12.
Still remove the stone, which of course is the first priority.
So Kessa was thinking two options here. She was thinking that she could either go away from the center line, away from the middle, and draw behind the tee line and not set up that all-important double that Thompson would be looking for, or she can come to the center and try and bury another one.
5, 6.
Now, although it's very tempting to come because you want to put that second rock perfect behind that guard, I'm not a huge fan of this right now, simply because if you don't make it perfect, then you give your opposition an out.
Right, you know, there's a chance it could set up that double as you were talking about on the previous shot.
Keep her going,
Maybe
Amy.
make
Keep her
that a
going.
little
Keep her
bit
going.
easier.
Keep her going. Okay, good, good, good.
You can always do this later in the end, but you don't want to do it too early. But she made it absolutely
She made a
perfect.
great shot there, Melissa.
Yeah, I like you.
So now Thompson's looking at just peeling off that front guard.
And they might try the run back. Depends how it looks out of her hand. They'll make the decision real quick.
Yeah! Hard! Hard! Hard!
She's close to the run back, I think.
Great, sorry, Kristen. Great throw.
Just a little on the oversweep, actually. If they leave that another 2 seconds, it'll finish, and she would have actually got them both, but really close. Good call by Carla. Yeah, she knows she overcalled it a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, if you can put it here, it'd be nice. Top 8, top 12.
So Kessa calling Marika to pretty much throw the same shot there, Melissa?
Yeah, it looks like she's gone to the other side, obviously, just because the blue guard has rolled away a little, so expose the one that's sitting on the top button.
Let it work a bit.
So this is the
Let it
first
work a bit.
time we've seen this path. The
Okay, four's
intern
good, right here.
come around.
Right here,
She'd
line's
like to
good.
put it right on top 8, top 12.
Okay, over curl, guys. Amy, your side. Go hard, yep. Then come on the other side, go here. Go here. Go here, go here, go here.
Yeah, looks like she's just trying to come around that guard.
Yeah, she's actually, I think they were looking for center, but because it overcurled, it ended up really well, actually. But now they do have access to shot rock. But it will be really hard to get that one out that was
Absolutely,
just
it
thrown
looks
by
like it's
Marika.
dead buried behind that guard. Oh, she might have a corner there.
Yep. Yes. Clean. Go,
She's trying to get the hit and roll behind if she can. This is Kristen Rexsealer.
Anything, Krista, anything. Go, 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 go.
Really good weight. It just didn't quite finish enough for her. But you saw how much ice Carla took on that shot. It was almost
like
10.5. It was quite
a foot and a half. Great finish coming in, and that's where the sweepers can really manage that stone, whether it's a hit or a draw.
I think that's pretty close. Clean. Yep. Hard. Hard. Whoa. Whoa. Gonna cross it. Yeah. Yeah. Whoa. Whoa.
Yeah, a little bit of a flop. It's pretty tight there. It's hard to get that hit and flop. But great shot by Marika Van Osch.
Good throw, Marika.
Great shot there, because I don't know that
Yeah,
it's
no, that's fine.
fully exposed now, Melissa. She might have a good piece of it, but
These are nice. Just really comes off.
don't know if she's got enough to get right to the
I
nose.
do like a 9.
Yeah, I agree.
Polish up on top of that one.
So Carla thinks she can see enough of the one that's sitting
I
top
think
12
just like a 9.
to come across the one that's kind of top 8, top 4, and maybe get the double the wide side. She'll lose her shooter, but most importantly, we'll try and remove both of those red stones.
Close.
Now they're calling 8.5, which is pretty firm weight on this ice.
Got by the guard by a ton. Got rid of one. I think just overthrew it a little bit.
Yeah, they were calling 8.5 there, Melissa, which is pretty firm weight, especially on this ice.
Do you want to come this way?
It's a really interesting point,
Yeah,
actually,
that's what we're
Terry.
thinking.
People, you know, teams that think that they need to throw that extra to
Yeah,
make
exactly.
the double. Yeah, you need a little bit
Hey, Marisa,
extra weight
there.
for
What
sure,
do
but
you
you
want?
don't
There?
need to throw peel or more than peel weight to make that shot.
Yeah.
It's the ice is very keen. The houses are active. The rocks are. They've got a lot of you know, motion in them, so you don't need to
striking
throw.
bands are
Striking
good.
band, yeah, you
Little
don't need to
piece
throw
that
that extra, and I think that was just an overthrow there by
I
Carla
like
Thompson.
to Christmas tree them.
And that's a
Leave
really
that,
good point, Melissa, especially for, you know, the recreational curlers.
think
They
for
think,
draw weight,
oh, a
guys?
double, you really got to throw it down there, but you don't. You know, I mean, you need to remove both rocks, but you can do that effectively with nice control weight.
So great opportunity here for Tessa Van Osch to get some draw weight. She threw 2 hits in the previous end, so opportunity
Fourth
here.
in.
Would really like to bite center
Five's
if she
really
can,
good.
preferably top 12.
Just looking not to set up a double here, I expect, Melissa.
Exactly.
Hard! Hard to it! Hard! Go, go, go. Keep it going, keep it going.
Whoa, whoa.
Nice throw, Cass. That's good, nice throw.
Really good.
I think that's in a really good spot, Terry. It actually curled more than they wanted, but that's okay. I'm not sure they can fully see that one that's biting top 8.
I mean, the other option is
And
to
you have to
wrap
be
here.
really careful throwing a hit on the one
You
that's,
like wrapping?
that's back, because if you tick it, you're giving up 3.
Exactly. I think that one actually buried a little more than the previous one did in that spot.
Like I have a bunch of it, so. Okay. I do on that side. Just a 10.
Exactly.
So Carla's looking to throw what she's calling just a 10 here. So again, that nice control weight.
1 second. Oh, she still can't see each other, isn't she? Yeah.
With this shot, you have to be, you'd rather hit it on the wide
Jen!
side than overcurl it. So
Shannon! Hard, Shannon! Go, go, you got it! Go, 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 go! Good sweep, Shannon.
and got your piece. That's all you can ask
3/4.
for.
Just a touch more.
Right, there really was no double there, Melissa, was there?
No, and Team Thompson was in a bit of trouble,
just a
so
touch
giving
more.
up a deuce here in the
So
second
stay
end, they'll be happy
Straight
with
stuff a
that.
little longer. Okay, what'd you get for a time on that?
I got 3.
Okay, wow, it's quick.
You got it.
So the good news for Tessa Van Osch is she gets to duplicate the shot she just previously threw. Nice draw weight, looking for 4 foot.
Gonna get a time on this one, Melissa, a hog to hog.
5. A little bit of an extension, guys. Use your eyes. Staying pretty straight still. There it goes, guys.
Go, go, go! Hard! Never up, guys. You got it. Keep it moving. Keep it moving. Go, go, go! Hard, hard, hard! Drag it in. Go, go, go.
Wow, what great brushing.
Great brushing on that stone. I timed that at a 16.45 hog to hog, which is really, really quick ice. And so to manage a nice draw, sweepers were on it all the way. Great shot by Kessa.
That's fantastic. We won't be gone long. It's 2-1 for Team Van Osch over Team Thompson. Back for the third end shortly. Stay tuned.
That has to be the most Canadian thing I've ever seen.
Well, maybe if he was also eating a poutine.
Whoa. And drinking maple syrup.
And he's also a curler.
Guys, you know I've never actually been curling before.
And you call yourself a Canadian?
I'm sorry.
There's more than 1,000 curling facilities in Canada. Be a good Canadian and find one near you today.
And just looking back at that second end where Team Van Osch got some great shots by Team Van Osch. They really played well, Terry, making it extremely difficult for Team Thompson. Carla had no option on that last one of hers just to get a piece out. And this was all set up early in that end just from some early misses by Trista Vandale.
Right, and Amy Gibson there really making a couple of great shots to set up the end.
So here we are in the third end of the BC Scotties 1-2 game. Again, 2-1. Hammer goes back now to Team Thompson. And an early miss there by Amy Gibson, throwing her first one through the rings.
So this gives Trista a good opportunity here to regroup from the last end and put together a couple of nice shots.
So corner guard by Team Thompson. They need to try and manufacture their deuce here. They want to get some rocks in play.
Line's good.
They were out-curled that last end by 97% for Team Van Osch. Almost a perfect end.
Let it work up a bit.
And they curled 84, so looking to pick up those numbers for this end.
Yeah, and by all accounts, Melissa, 84% is a pretty darn good percentage for a team, but when your opponent's at 97, you need to bring it up.
Hi, girl.
So there's better weight for Amy Gibson, just top 4. She'll be happy with that. So even though Team Van Osch is line 2, Carla just threw up a corner guard for a reason. She wants to try and get one buried there and take that play away from center for now. Try and get Team Van Osch to chase them over on the sides.
Right, they know with that, with the center open there, they can go after that later. It's key to get something buried now and try and generate their deuce.
Gotta go! Gotta curl! Gotta curl, Stan, I think back up! Gotta curl!
Nice weight.
5.5.
Very nice weight. Right to tee. Nice enough that Kessa's not going to take any chances and peel off that corner.
Yep! Yep! Hard! Really gotta go, really gotta go. Really gotta go. Yep, hard.
That's a really great break for Team Van Osch. They were looking for that straight peel, but actually got a perfect center guard roll out of that. Almost a little bit too much. They swept it just a little bit too much, so it's exposed the one top 4, and Carla's going to go after it. Almost perfect.
Almost perfect. Still not fully exposed, that one on the 4-foot, though, is it, Melissa? Can she just see a corner?
I think she can see a corner. Enough just that she can hit and roll away. Carla knows she's going to take a couple chances here in the third end, but most importantly, she wants to make sure that she has a shot on her last if they do get into any kind of trouble this end.
Right. Right. keeping that forefoot open is always a good plan, especially when you have your hammer.
Great shot by Shannon Jonice.
Yeah, you'll go over top of it. Do you want to throw this? Or do you want to throw more?
Kessel looking here to call the double on that.
Just up nose.
One on the tee line and the one that Shannon Jonice threw where she got that real nice roll.
Kalia's asked for peel weight again here, and again, yes, she's peeling out too. They are pretty close together, so you want to get a lot of action on that first rock. But again, you don't need a lot more weight than just a regular weight, but she's throwing peel, more comfortable with that. Let's try and get them both going if she can.
I think you made a great point there, Melissa, that they were pretty close together, and when they are that tight, it's tough to remove both of them unless you hit it at the perfect angle.
So they did roll behind the guard. They, unfortunately, also the blue one, the Thompson rock, rolled in front of their other stone, so it's kind of eliminating that one right now from play. But because the Team Van Osch stone is behind the tee line, a great opportunity here for Shannon Jonice to try and freeze to the one fully buried. Put the pressure back on Team Van Osch.
I'm good. I'm tempted to get Kristen to go.
Okay.
No bounce. No bounce.
Now they're calling no bounce here, and they did get a little bounce, so maybe just a little bit extra weight there, Melissa?
Yeah, it looked like it was a back 8-foot weight, and that's just too much. It's not giving your sweepers an opportunity to do their job.
Okay, Ken, just off nose, you roll here.
You can kind of feel the momentum out there, Terry. You sort of see that Team Van Osch is really playing well right now. And they're just making things a little bit, they're just a little bit sharper than Team Thompson, making things a little bit more precise.
I'd have to agree with you there, Melissa. And although both teams look pretty comfortable out there, I think you're right about the momentum.
Yep, yes, yep, hard, hard, right hard.
They really want to roll away if they can. Oh, what a great shot. Marika Van Osch, she is an unbelievable player and just threw a perfect shot, doubled the blue ones out, and now Team Thompson facing 3.
I think I've lost count of how many doubles I saw Marika make this week, Melissa, but I know there were a lot. Great player, great player.
Well, sometimes you would see teams just step up when you're facing 3 in the house. You kind of freak out a little bit and you want to hit. But you see Carla, she has a game plan in mind, an end plan in mind. She knows that both those rocks are T-line or a little bit back. So they're just going to try and freeze and really try and change the momentum of this end if they can.
Right, those rocks behind there are really actually to her advantage at this point.
Just a little heavy again. They didn't want to bump that one quite as far as they did. They want to make it more difficult for Van Osch to remove it.
Yeah. They'll probably take this one. You want to throw the same weight? Okay.
Van Osch doesn't really mind losing some of those back there, do they, Melissa?
Exactly. They're a hindrance to them right now.
Yeah.
Let's try and get rid of them. At least one of them.
Clean.
The key about this, if they nose this blue one, they will be above T-line. It will be more difficult for Team Thompson.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, by getting that roll away, they're still back at the T-line for the ones that are there on the forefoot, so Carla can still use those.
This is nice though.
Kristen Rexealer with her second. Looking for just a little less weight than she threw on her first one here. Needs some more curl and let the sweepers do their job. She's way out there right now. She's got a lot of movement to do.
Girls are calling top 4.
15 and a half, hog to hog. Weight's perfect. So just a couple observations about ice. We talked off the top of the show, Terry, how important it is to pick up the ice as fast as possible. The team that does it the best is going to have the most success soon. And I think that right now, Kessa Van Osch is maybe just reading the ice a little bit better right now than Carla.
Yeah, the girls appear to be throwing, you know, great weight. Kristen threw that right to the tee line and just didn't quite get the finish that they expected.
Just a 10, I think. You like this ice? Yeah, and yours are softer. This is about what I was doing for practice for nose.
Okay, I like it. Right to the brim, you got this. Ready? Yep. Whoa. Yep. Whoa.
Break up!
Break up. Hard. Hard. Hard.
Looks like Team Van Osch currently lies 3.
Yeah.
And just as you mentioned, Melissa, there now the rock that she just threw is now in front of the tee line, so that presents a little bit more of a problem for Carla.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it looks like Carla might be looking at playing
10 and
the
a half.
double and getting a flop towards that center line. And I think it's there, the double with the roll as well. If she can make that happen,
try
she'll
for the
put
double.
herself in a pretty good position to
Bring that back
score
one
on
into
her
play,
last.
maybe. Yeah.
I think what's most important here, though, Terry, is where that shooter ends up. She doesn't want to leave that shooter exposed to Team Van Osch.
Right, if she can get a nice roll here, could we see the skips deuce?
It's a possibility. So I'd say the double is the second priority here. The hit and roll is the most important.
Yep. No, to curl, Shen. Shen. Hard.
Didn't quite get the roll she was looking for there.
I like nose. You like nose? Right there? Yeah. I'll try and throw a little less. Yeah.
So a nose here
there.
would leave Team Van Osch line 4 with 1 rock to go. So they had a little discussion about where they want to leave this shooter once they remove the blue stone, and I think a nose there, if you roll it away one way or the other, it does expose the 4-foot, the scoring area for Team Thompson, but you want to make it as hard as you can on Carla Thompson to make a draw against 4.
Absolutely. If she noses this and sits right there, Carla can't hit it and get shot. She needs to find a way to draw in there to get her point.
Marika?
Clean. Yep. Amy. Clean. Whoa. Whoa.
Great shot.
Clean and whoa are the what you always want to hear when you're following that rock down.
Sorry, Kristen. 9-2. Oops. 5-3.
So this forces Carla out to the side. They really haven't played this end, but she should still have a pretty good idea of the line and the weight. Don't you think, Melissa?
Yeah, so she's taking quite a bit of ice. Obviously, she doesn't want to flirt with that guard in any way, shape, or form. She has a little bit of backing if she needs it, but the key here is really just to throw it to your sweepers. Throw the weight that you know it is. It hasn't changed, and just let your brushers do their job and get this one to the 4-foot for a single. This is Carla Thompson, their last one in the third, and drawing against 4 opposition stones. You heard right away that she threw it to backing. Great communication there by the front end.
The girls were calling hard for backing there, so
they knew it was heavy out of Carla's hand, and They had to get to the backing, and they did it the best they could. I think Kristen was calling for the sweep to try and nose that one. But it looks like it goes through. We watch it here. They were sweeping for the backing the whole way, but unfortunately it just over curled. And it looks like it's a steal of 1, 2, and 3. I think it's a steal of 3 for Team Van Osch. We're going to go down to the ice surface and to Emily.
Thank you so much, ladies. Yes, I am joined by Lindsay Shannon of Curl BC. It's so great to see you today.
Thanks, Emily. It's great to be here. We've had such large, enthusiastic crowds out all week.
I know. I was so lucky to pop by, and Melissa Sligo showed me how to throw a rock. Didn't go so well. These girls make it look really easy. What does it take to put on an event like this?
Well, we really need to thank our host committee chair, Danielle Callens. She and her crew of volunteers have done such an amazing job to put on an event of this caliber.
And you know what? We have to thank all the volunteers, because without them, this wouldn't be happening. So many people have come out, they brought their kids, and this is a really fantastic event. Let's get back to the game. Let's throw it back to Melissa and Terry in the booth.
Well, Terry, that was quite a turn of events. It looked like a fairly simple draw to the forefoot for a single, and unfortunately, the front end was a great communication. The front end was telling them that it was heavy, but they just couldn't get it to that backing.
Exactly, Melissa. They knew it was heavy. They were sweeping hard to try and use that backing, but unfortunately it just slipped by and resulted in a big steal of 4 for Van Osch. We talked about that momentum, and it looks like it's still swinging that way, Melissa.
Yeah, Van Osch is just playing fantastic, all in the 90s, that last end. Again, they are playing so well. They're reading the ice extremely well, and they're putting the rocks in the right position. Their room for tolerance right now is very minimal. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, their hitting sticks are making it, and even if they're rolling a little bit, it's rolling to a great spot.
And the funny thing is, to your point earlier, if somebody said to me, you're curling 80%, I'd be really happy with that.
Exactly.
And that's exactly what Team Thompson is playing in the 80s. But Team Van Osch, outstanding at 95% as a team.
Right.
Five's good. Line's
It's
good.
at 97%, Melissa. That's impressive.
Not bad.
Little bit of room, little bit of room. Still got room.
But it's still early in the game here, and the last thing Team Van Osch wants to do is get comfortable with that lead. I think they have to remember that this is a big game for both teams, and keep that pedal to the metal for a little bit here.
Yeah, Team Thompson also has to remember it, as you said, it's early in the game. Yes, they're down 5. They want to try and get a deuce. Obviously, a 3-ball is nicer, but a deuce is comfortable, and just kind of pick your way back into this game. So they're going to take some chances for sure, but they want to make sure, obviously, in this all-important 4th end that they score.
Exactly. There's still 7 ends of play here, so there's actually lots of time.
7-7. Keep it coming. Good sweep. Good throw, Trista. They're pretty flat, so just one. You like there? Yeah. Okay.
I think Team Van Osch's game plan is going to be straightforward in this end. I think as soon as a blue corner guard goes up, they're going to try and remove it. They're happy with just the one that's sitting in the top 4 foot, top 8 foot. And now it's just a matter of clearing off the corner guards and not letting Team Thompson get anything going.
Right, and with the 4-rock rule, of course, Melissa, they can't do that until it's the second stones, but Kalia was up, so away go the guards.
So unfortunately for Kalia, she did roll to the center, not what they wanted for sure. They wanted to remove it. So it does give an opportunity for Team Thompson to use it if they wish.
I mean, I like this too. Tell her nice and straight.
Shannon Jonice with her first here in the 4th end. Looking for a freeze on that one that's sitting top 8, top 4.
8. Full send for behind it. Yep. Hard. Yes, line. Hard. Yes, hard.
So they were sweeping that, Terry, to try. They knew right away, again, the great communication that they knew it was wider than they would hope for, and it wasn't curling enough. So they tried to go behind it, but unfortunately they ticked the one that was sitting top 4. So not a good result there for Shannon Jonice.
Kessa's not going to be tempted, though, here, Melissa. You might be tempted to go after those in the house, but she knows those guards are the ones that she has to get rid of.
Clean. Atta girl. Much better. She might catch the back of that one.
As a competitive senior player, Terry, which is the rocks that always hurt you the most?
I'm going to say those are the ones that are in front of the house. Thanks for pointing out that senior portion there. So that was just
sorry about
great.
that slipped out.
That's okay.
Line's great. Top 8's good.
It's a great peel there on her second one for Kalia. So still one guard hanging out on the center line. Shannon Jonice with her attempt to come around and freeze. Looks like it's going to be a little bit late.
That's fine.
Maybe just overcompensated a little bit from her first shot.
And that's not horrible. The key is that it's still in play and it can be used.
Or you can do this.
But you know that
Whatever you like. I like either.
Kessa's going to make a play on that one in the rings eventually, but right now I think they should be trying to double peel the 2 centers. And Kessa's thinking about it.
Where Shannon Jonice's rock ended up, Melissa, as you say, isn't in a bad spot. If they ever have to run one in, you'd rather be running your own color in rather than the opposition.
And that's why I like the double peel here for Van Osch team. You don't want to leave that opportunity for Team Thompson. And you have the right girl throwing it, I think.
There comes Marika again.
Yeah. Hard! Hard. That's fine.
Whoops.
Need more ice, Marika, my fault.
Probably the first mistake we've seen from Marika.
I just need more ice.
And Kessa's owning up to it there. She's saying she just needed to give her a little bit more ice. So saying Marika threw it well, just a little more ice.
Yeah, and that's one of those shots you can actually give the little extra ice because you hit it anywhere on the high side, you're fine. The only thing you didn't want to do, obviously, is over curl it. So that's where you can just take that little bit extra bit of ice and just be super safe with it.
Yeah, peeling one would have been just fine there, right, Melissa?
Exactly.
Line's great.
So opportunity here now for Kristen Rexsealer to try and bury around that guard, that center red guard. Try and get something going.
Clean, keep your broom down, Trista.
Top 4.
Real nice weight here by Kristen.
Good sweep, girl.
Just a little bit deep again. Would have been nice if that one was just
You'll
top
lose
4,
you'll
even
lose
top
guard
8.
then. So if you peel it, that's fine. You like that, Marika?
Yeah.
Straight peel, guys. Yep. Yep. That's good.
So I guess they felt that they maybe couldn't see enough, or that the problem one was definitely the guard, so they decided to peel that guard.
Okay. You like here?
Leaving them line 2 still in the forefoot for Team Thompson.
Oh, yeah. This is pretty thin, but that's okay.
Still forces Team Thompson to put another rock in a pretty darn good spot.
You want to go the same way?
Give Team Van Osch an opportunity for that double.
And I think Team Van Osch now, they'll be on skip stones here shortly. They'll be looking to hit the ones in the rings. It's getting a little bit late now to keep peeling the guards and leaving those in the ring. So this is a really important shot for Kristen and her placement of this stone, trying not to set anything up.
Room a bit. Room. Yep, Ben. But the line's getting better. Still a ton of room. Yep. Room. Quick, Ben.
Go.
Okay, we're good for line.
Go. Push.
Yep. Okay, we're good. Stop.
Great brush by Tristan and Shannon there too. get that bite of the top 12.
Yeah, they pounded that one most of the way.
Do you have enough room to come this way? Okay. It's right about there, guys.
Yeah. I think you gotta throw the outturn. You hit it thick, you get the roll, right?
Yeah, you do this, you get the...
Yeah.
Okay, you like that?
Yeah.
You want to hit it right about there? Feel? Right there?
So Kessa...
I don't think so. Give me a little bit more.
So Kessa was having a discussion
Touch
here,
more,
Terry,
Claire.
about what is the best way to throw this rock. They want to ideally make the double if they can.
so.
If not, the hit and roll is a definite second
You
option.
can't really over
But
curl it.
what's
I'll hit the
interesting
top.
about what she just said about if they do the hit and roll is that she's throwing peel weight. And
Yeah.
again, we had this discussion already.
Right, and she's really not taking any ice at all. So if she's going to get a roll, I think she's probably going to roll out, Melissa.
If she gets the roll, yeah. If you don't hit it perfect to make the double, you're going to lose your shooter.
Forward!
But Team Van Osch is very happy here to concede a double,
Break a
or
roll,
2
break
points
up.
if they have to. And that's what I worry about with that kind of weight. It's all or nothing. You either have to hit it perfect for the double, and if you don't, there was just really hard to make a perfect hit and roll on that. So with that kind of weight, very little control for the sweepers to do anything.
Pretty much as you kind of drew it
I'll
out
throw
there,
an 11.
Melissa, that if you get any kind of a roll, it was either going to be out or certainly out in the open.
Yeah, nice 11.
So a bit of a door open here for Team Thompson. If they can get a hit and flop behind that long red guard, they'll maybe get something going. They might have an opportunity for a 3 here this end.
So Carla just called out for a nice 11, which should be just a nice soft hit.
No! Shannon!
Keep going.
Clean, just beach side. It's not gonna roll.
So she asked for 11 and she threw an 11. That's pretty good.
Pretty good.
This is probably easier.
Looks like they maybe just didn't quite get the finish that they were hoping for, Melissa, with the right
Right about
weight.
there, guys. Yeah.
Just fooled a little bit by the
You
ice.
think that's
maybe.
easier than that one?
Most importantly is the shooter stayed in line and
Oh, yeah.
in the house, and that's
See,
the
like there?
key. But
Same way?
where it did end up, though, the double looks like there is a double opportunity here for Team Van Osch. It's a thin, looks like a thin third, maybe a thin quarter. Get the double.
This is the straighter turn. This is the straighter. Yeah. I don't think you can hit this too skinny. Because I don't think you can really hit this too skinny.
You got this right first.
I think her comment was she doesn't think she can hit it too skinny, and I think that's right. You hit it thin, you should get the double.
Solid!
Well, she said this was the straighter turn, so we'll see.
Oh, a
Just
bit of a
over
miscall. Yeah, just a bit of a miscall there by Kalia.
Need more ice.
Yeah, good job.
They're kind of caught in between there, between the double and the hit and roll again. So if you see this one coming down, she was playing the double and a bit of a late call.
So that one was 10.
But if they brush that the whole way, she has a double the whole way.
So they needed to hit it a little thinner.
They did. Yeah.
Oh, and a little spin back in there, Melissa.
Yeah. So nose hit here for 3 for Team Thompson. Carla looking to throw her nice control weight. They're going early on this one. Looks like it's curling, and we saw that earlier with one of Shannon Jonisa's rocks. It over curled.
Just rolls out.
Big missed opportunity for Carla Thompson.
Missed opportunity for the 3, but she does get her deuce.
So we have a 6-3 score after 4 ends. We'll be back shortly with the 5th end here at the 2018 BC Scotties Championship.
That was a good throw, though, right?
When I grow up, I want to be a superhero. I want to be a firefighter. I want to graduate university. I don't know what I want to be. I want to be an archaeologist. I want to be a scientist. Pilot. Coach. Carpenter. I'm going to be a curling champion.
Kids dream big. Your support will help them realize their dreams on and off the ice.
Welcome back to the 2018 BC Scotties. Very interesting 4th end, Terry, with a couple of missed double opportunities by Kessa Van Osch. It opened the door wide open for Carla Thompson to get a 3 ball, and unfortunately, after this miss by Kessa on her last one, she left Carla with an open hit for 3. And just, it overcurled, rolled out of the rings, but they still, as you say, managed to get their deuce. And this is an interesting point, Terry. This is where they overcurled earlier in the 2nd end.
I was just going to talk to that, Melissa, and as you pointed out, it was that one spot where Shannon Jonice had overcurled one as well.
But they still get their deuce. They're crawling back into this game. It's 6-3 after 4. Team Van Osch with the hammer in 5. And we know this game, Terry, is all about taking advantage of the opportunities given to you. And Team Thompson was definitely given a lot of opportunities there with a couple just those slight misses by Team Van Osch, but unfortunately just couldn't fully capitalize.
Yeah, and Carla will not be too happy with that. She knows she had a good chance there for 3, and that would have, you know, put her back in the game a little bit more here, but 6-3 isn't a bad score after 4 ends.
So Amy Gibson had tried the tick on her first and just missed it, just went by.
The tick or the weagle is
yeah, the weagle. That's right.
Nice 3. Still running, hasn't caught the curl yet. Okay, here it goes now. Line's good. Line is good. 3. Hard, girl. Hard, girl. Hard. Good pair, Trista. Good save.
2 good ones by Trista Vandale. They know that they want to try and steal. So they're ready to take some chances still here. I know it's still early, 5th end, but they want to take some chances and try and get a steal here in the 5th and just crawl a little bit closer back to the game.
Little tight for line. Back line. Hard line.
Yeah, and that double guard, Melissa, as we know, is just a great way to set up that steal.
Hard line. Keep it going, guys. Hard. Hard.
Might have been just a hair light for Amy Gibson, so it overcurled and 2 guards still remaining.
Yeah, with a little more weight on that, I think she would have been really nicely buried there behind that double guard. So Carla looking to come right around now, Melissa.
Line's good. Yep. Line is good. Yes, line's great.
Shannon Jonice really wants to bury this one. Doesn't have to be perfect, but top 8, top 4 is great. Good brushing by Kristen and Trista. Absolutely perfect.
There's that great finish we talked about on this ice, Melissa. Mike Merklinger and Cody Hall have just done such a great job with the ice this week.
Close.
So a peel attempt here by Kalia Van Osch. Gets one.
One more. Let's do another one.
And I like this call by Carla. Her initial feeling was to come in again, but you don't need to do that. You don't need to try and get a steal of two early in the end. Put up another guard, let Team Van Osch waste some stones peeling, and then maybe later in the end decide to come in again and really put the pressure on Kessa Van Osch. So I like this call. I like the guard.
Yeah, it's still really early in the end, still on second stones.
Really want to leave this high though, not too close to set up any kind of double peel on the guards. Bit too close, bit too close.
Yep. You like that ice, Clea?
And you notice, Terry, that one just over curled maybe by about 3-4 inches too much. And what could happen here is if you hit this rock maybe 3/4 on the outside, you could potentially drive that second guard back into the one that's sitting top 4. I have a feeling that's what Kessa might be playing.
See some rocks moving here.
Oh, it over curled on her.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Got the double peel though, left the center.
I'm tapping 3.
Again, as we talked about, it is a red center there now, so if Kessa needs to use that to run back later in the end, it's her stone color that she's running back.
Yeah, and I just saw Kalia just confirm with her sister she was a little bit tight on that, and that's basically what happened at the end. She has been tight a little bit so far this game, so she needs to be aware, maybe just make sure on this kind of ice, always get out to the broom, because you know what's going to finish. So Kristen Rexsealer on her first. Would love to half bury around that red guard.
Top 8, go Tristan. Go Tristan.
Line is so much more important here than weight, but it looks like it's going to hang. And get a half bury to be great.
Almost froze it to that rock.
That's awesome.
It's a good shot.
You peel it, that's fine. 15-8. You like there?
So it's buried enough that they're going to try to either run the red one in, and if it's a straight peel, that's okay too. This one's got some heat on it.
Hard, 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 hard. That's fine.
And straight peel, as you say, Melissa, wasn't a bad outcome at all there. Carla will look to just put that guard back.
Definitely. You don't want to put it too close either. You want to make sure that there's some space between the guard and the ones in the rings, just to make it harder on Van Osch to try and run it through.
Line's good. Line's good. Line's good, guys. 2. Start to come.
Sweepers are calling a 2 here, Melissa, so that's telling us that this should be a pretty long guard.
Yeah, approximately halfway. They want to get to the center, though. Nice shot. Great outcome. You hear that number 2, Terry, we haven't alluded to that yet, is the zones that they're using from 1 to 10, from hog line to back line, and then zone 1, 2, 3, just an easy way to communicate the sweeping. Zone 1, 2, 3 just outside the rings, and then 4, 5, 6 above the T line, and then on from there. So great communication piece. And easy to hear.
It's pretty easy to hear, and you do hear that most of the teams have adopted that. I think it was the famous Furby foursome that initiated that a number of years ago, and you hear that all the time now with the top teams. They're not calling halfway and 12 foot anymore. They're calling out those zone numbers.
So good peel there by Team Van Osch. So Carla Thompson on her first, looking to replace that guard. Again, not too tight. Pretty good result there. They were actually trying to sweep for curl and they didn't need to. It actually finished hard, so.
Okay. Gotta be above 2. Okay. That's center.
So Kessa's making a decision here. It's time to ignore what's just occurred on the center line, and she feels like she can throw the in-turn draw and get to the 4-foot and actually get shot rock behind all 3 of those blue stones.
So come right around everything.
Yeah, and she knows that if she went for the peel right now, she probably would end up having to make this shot on her last one because they throw up another guard.
Just top
so
4, guys.
she's going to try and do this first.
Let her freeze to it. Yeah. I'd rather drop it top 8. Or come the other way. Okay. Okay. Like a 425. Clay, can I have just a touch less? Yeah.
Does look like a lot of ice when you're sitting down there in the hack, Melissa, but you just have to trust the curl on this, don't you?
Absolutely. Trust the curl, trust the ice.
5. 3 now. 6. 5. 5.
So 5 is approximately top 8.
Go. Come over. At the end. Walk it over. Right over.
You just see it hanging out there. It takes a long time to make its move, but when it
good.
does,
Line's good.
it will go.
At the end. Yep. Hard. Hard, Marika. Go, go, go.
What a shot.
Really nice shot by Kessa. Those were the shots that Kessa was really making towards the end of the week, Melissa. I saw her make just a ton of those.
Okay, because we sit if we get as much.
What a
snow as we
perfectly
can,
thrown, managed shot. The girls were on and off it the whole way, and towards the end, they were just put it in just a perfect position. Couldn't ask for a better result.
So is Carla looking to just come down and maybe
like a 4.5?
give it a little tap?
Sticking there is great. Just push it back.
Yeah, she looks like she's just throwing tap. She's taken about 6 inches less ice than Kessa Van Osch on her draw. So that just tells me that she's probably throwing maybe a back 4-foot weight maybe, just to try and move it a little bit and keep her shooter right there. Make it difficult for Kessa to try and score. There's not a lot of room left in that 4-foot area.
All there. Close. Close. Yeah. Yeah.
She looked a little tight out of her hands here. They called it right away.
I think they felt she had the weight, but it's all about the line here.
Yeah,
right you are, Melissa. Just a little tight out of her hand.
Yeah, they had to go early, but yeah, the weight was absolutely perfect. But unfortunately, just over curled, and door open now for Kessa to get her deuce.
You need just over half. Need 3/4.
Kessa can pretty well throw same shot that she just threw.
Okay, you can come right to it.
Yeah, same weight's perfect.
And that's a good piece of communication for your front end, Terry, where Kessa came down and said you can be right to it, because it's pretty busy down there in the 4-foot area, and you don't know if you're going to be second shot if you come right onto the red one. So the sweepers need to know that, and that's great information. So big shot here for Kessa. She gave up a deuce in the previous end. Would love to get that right back.
Okay, all you guys. Full 4. Okay, use your eyes. Use your eyes. Line's good. Line's good. Line's really nice. Line's
She's really close.
Above the hair. We'll decide it. We'll decide it.
And she got it. She
Close
got her
enough for the
deuce.
deuce. Nice shot by Kessa there.
That was super communication. They knew it was a different path, but they managed to get it. So deuce for Team Van Osch here in the 5th. And we will be back shortly for the last half of this game.
Curling, the game with the ice and the rocks and the sweeping and the yelling. Each game starts with a handshake. Then, 2 teams of 4 people take turns throwing 44-pound stones down a sheet of ice. Each team throws 8 rocks, and the team closest to the center after all the rocks are thrown will score the points. This process is repeated for 6 to 10 rounds until one team is victorious. It's just that simple. Or is it?
I am joined by Kessa Van Osch. Congratulations about the lead so far.
Thanks. Yeah, a little unexpected so early, but yeah, I'm excited.
Good for you. And you play with 2 of your sisters and a friend of yours. What's that like, the dynamic having 2 of your sisters on your team and you get to be in charge?
It's pretty cool. I mean, we've done it since I was in juniors. We had actually a junior championship out of Victoria here back in 2012. They're great to play with. Couldn't play with anybody better, and Amy's just fits in just like one of the other sisters. So
yes, you seem like you've got a very good rapport out there watching you all play. It's been a very exciting game.
Yeah.
Now moving forward, any strategies?
We just want to keep it simple, play our game, and hopefully the coach has some wise words of wisdom. So
Wonderful. Well, all the best of luck moving forward, and maybe we'll chat with you after the game.
Sounds good.
Perfect. Back to Terry and Melissa in the booth.
Oh, what a great end for Team Van Osch. Got that deuce back that they gave up in the 4th. They were happy to do that. Now they've got their lead back, Terry.
They do, and as we said, Melissa, there's some real momentum going out there for Team Van Osch, and what Carla Thompson needs to do is have some patience and put some rocks in play against a team that's playing really, really well right now.
I know we said earlier that you're curling 80-85%. You're pretty happy with that, but when you have a team that's curling 90-95%, you've got to up your game even more.
You sure do, Melissa. And, you know, these girls, they've been here before, and they'll know what they have to do to make that jump in their stats.
That's right. So we got 5 ends to go here at the BC Scotties Championship in Victoria, BC. We're going to just go to the highlights for the first 5 ends. And there's, again, we talked about momentum, right? We talked about the fact that Team Van Osch was making some of the better shots, the more precise shots. Kessa has been throwing really well this whole game, and Carla's just been missing by that little bit of an inch, and this was the big one here in the 3rd end where she had a draw against 4 and it just goes too far and she gives up that huge steal. Yeah, you can tell by the look on her face.
The look on her face tells it all right there, Melissa.
And we know Kessa tried to come back in the 4th end where she was playing some doubles, missed those by just all of that little tiny inch, and that opened the door for Team Thompson here in the 4th to get a 3 back, right back, and unfortunately an overcurl.
Right, and a 3 would have been really, really big for Team Thompson right here, but the deuce was still good. That still keeps them in the game.
Team Thompson had a great 5th end. They made some super shots, but Kessa Van Osch on her first one made a key strategy change where she decided to forget the defense, go offense, couldn't miss, made it absolutely perfect on the tee line, and just another overcurl by Carla Thompson on her last one opened the door for Team Van Osch to get 2.
Right, just grazes that front one, and had she gotten by, it would have been great. And Kessa does the infamous skips deuce,
and makes it perfect.
Makes it perfect.
And so here we are, the first 5 ends are over. We're off. We have 5 to go. The 2018 BC Scotties Championship, game 1-2 in Victoria, BC.
That has to be the most Canadian thing I've ever seen.
Well, maybe if he was also eating a poutine.
Whoa. And drinking maple syrup.
And he's also a curler.
Guys, you know I've never actually been curling before.
And you call yourself a Canadian?
I'm sorry.
There's more than 1,000 curling facilities in Canada. Be a good Canadian and find one near you today.
Rivals. Noun. A person or thing competing with another for the same objective or for superiority in the same field of activity.
The BCHL is back live on Shaw TV. Things will heat up on the ice as island rivals face off against one another up and down and all around Vancouver Island. 5 teams are all fighting one another to claim the status of island champs. Tune in for our monthly island matchup, only on Shaw TV.
And the teams are just coming back after a quick 5th end break. They got to meet with their coaches, 5th players, to have some discussion on how to play this last 5 ends here at the BC Scotties, Terry.
That's right, Melissa. And, you know, the coaches, here's where they can give them some great advice. And Team Thompson doesn't come in with a coach, but they come in with Diane Tezura as their 5th, whom we know has some great experience. I mean, she's a former Olympian, as you are, Melissa. She's a former world champion. She would have been able to give the girls some good key points that they can focus on for the last 5 ends.
Exactly, and I mean, they are the #1 seed coming into this playoff match. They haven't brought their best game so far today, but she's going to keep them calm, keep them focused. And the key here is just, again, they have 5 ends to go, just kind of pick away at that lead if they can. Try and make some good shots, and most importantly, if they aren't victorious in this game, they still have another one to play.
Absolutely. You know, they'll play, the loser of this game will play the loser of the 3-4 game tonight. They will play that game tomorrow morning, so they, you know, they're not out of this yet. They still have that second opportunity.
I don't know.
And Kessa we heard her during her interview, wanted to go talk to Coach Bill Shearhart, who's also the national coach for the seniors, for the teams that go off to the Senior World Championship. So great addition to Team Van Osch this year with Bill Shearhart. So Team Van Osch here in the 6th end, up 8-3 over Team Thompson.
Really nice.
Hammer belongs to Team Thompson in the 6th.
Good girl, Trista. Good poop.
We know, Terry, that obviously an event like this can't happen without the help of our sponsors.
That's true, Melissa, and you know, we have some great sponsors from this event. For this event, Kruger, Scotties Paper Products, they're a huge sponsor of women's curling in Canada, as we all know. Everyone knows the Scotties. You can see by all the product out here, they treat these girls really, really well. Best Western Hotels, again, another title sponsor. Good long-time sponsor for Curl BC. Host hotel for lots of these events, and again, treat these girls really, really well. We can't thank these sponsors enough, because without their sponsorship, these events simply don't happen.
Yeah, we're pretty lucky here in curling, aren't we?
We're
pretty lucky.
Yep, then. Room.
So Team Van Osch going into the rings on their first, corner guard by Trista Vandale. Another rock in from Amy Gibson, and now Trista with the same kind of plan she had before a couple ends ago, trying to bury this one around that corner guard, but unfortunately, again, it just doesn't fully bury.
Now that she can peel, Kessa's not going to take any chances, and she's just going to peel that guard out.
We'd also like to thank Kathleen McKenzie and all of her umpiring crew. They've done a fantastic job this week, keeping everybody in line and keeping everyone. Oh.
That was
Gets the
good.
job done. It doesn't matter what. Yeah, it doesn't
done.
matter what it happens.
You're right about all the officials and the umpire.
So they tried to get that one. Kalia just ticks it, but manages to avoid all the shrapnel in the house.
No
Especially
rocks
hers.
flying in the house.
That's right. And sometimes when you have a little bit of momentum on your side, you also have some luckier breaks on your side, and that's just the way our sport goes.
Curling gods, we call it, I think, Melissa?
I think so.
Yep. Okay, we're good.
This is a great shot by Shannon Jonice. Absolutely perfect guard. Kessa is definite in her plan. That needs to go.
Absolutely.
Clean. Amy, hard. Hard, Amy, hard. Really hard. Hey, clean. You're good, clean. That girl.
It's a great peel. Shannon's going to try and duplicate that shot.
Running a bit. Okay, starting to curl now. Okay, line's good. Line's good.
Because mine didn't quite cut off the center.
Good throw. Good pull, Sam.
Nice shot.
Just the top one, right? Yep, just the top. You like that ice?
They seem to have nailed that guard spot, Melissa.
Again, this ice has just been fantastic all week. Again, Mike at Merklinger and Cody Hall, we can't thank them enough for just doing such an awesome job on this ice.
Clean. Yep. Hard. Really hard. Really hard. Ready, Amy?
I'm talking about that ice, Melissa, too. Another one of our great sponsors is Ice King. Simon Morris, the Ice King representative, was here all week, and he comes to these events, the major events. Just a great supporter for Curl BC.
Kristen Rexsealer has had a tremendous game on the Team Thompson, curling 96% on draws and 92% on hits. She's
a little bit of room.
Her and Trista pretty much have, after 5 ends, have been curling the best on that team. But I can't tell you enough about what's happening on the Van Osch team.
Well, what I'm seeing here, Melissa, is some 100% from Kalia, Marika, and Kessa on their draws. Now we know those hits have been pretty darn good too, and we're seeing those in the 90s and the 80s for Kessa and Marika, but kind of looks like it's been higher than that, doesn't it?
It does.
That's okay. Unless you want to do this. Come have a look.
I don't leave him side by side because it gives her a pocket.
Now, as the girls are talking here about where to place their next stone, I'll give a shout out to some of our other great sponsors for Curl BC. We've got Bel Air Direct Insurance, which provides a great rate not only for our curlers but also for our curling centers. AMJ Campbell Moving and Storage. We can't thank them enough. All the props you see out here, you know, the carpet and so forth, they move that around from event to event for us, and we'd really like to thank them for that.
Roll big's fine. You want to throw 9? I like 9.5. I like it.
So you can tell how well these sisters work together. Obviously, they've played together for so long, but they have lots of conversation between the three of them, and Kessa is very open to letting Marika sort of decide how she wants to play this shot. She came down and had a look at it, they had a conversation, and she decided that she wanted to throw 9.5 at this one. And Kessa's totally fine with that, and that's good. That's a good way to communicate, good way to have a dynamic on a team. Not just one leader out there.
Yeah, as you say, Melissa, these girls, they've curled together pretty much their entire curling career. And this is the first year that the three of them have played together at the women's level. Marika was part of the junior team that went to the nationals last year.
Yep.
Yeah, Team Brown, who we'll see later on this evening, 3 of them from that team.
Trista then, Trista. Keep it coming, Trista. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yep, line. Big roll, big roll. Great weight, too much ice.
Nice shot there by Kristen. She was trying to get to the face of that red stone and just bump it straight back. A little bit of an angle, but the key there is they push those 2 red stones behind the tee line, so even if Kessa Van Osch removes this blue one, that should open up an opportunity to try and score in the 4-foot.
Yeah, the key here is that Thompson does have some rocks in play, and Kessa's just going to try and reduce the possibility of them scoring here.
No, nose is not bad. Just gives her access to that back. Yeah, I agree. Clean. Rika.
I think that might have been just a bit of an overthrow there, Melissa.
I think so, yeah. They were hoping to just hit and stick there or just flop right in front of those 2 stones that are back 4. So small opportunity here for Team Thompson. They need to lock one on.
I got 4-8 on Kristen, so 15 should be pretty good, I think. Yeah, 15 should be pretty close, eh? Maybe a pinch left.
So Carla's looking to throw her in-turn draw, but noting after 5 ends of play, she's only at 42% for her draws at this point.
I don't know that we have a number on how many draws she's thrown yet, Melissa, but there was that all elusive one in the 3rd end that she would certainly like to have back.
To it, button, hard line.
If she can lock this right onto that Van Osch stone in the back button, she'd be in a great spot.
Hard, girls, you got it, go, go,
This one looks a little bit light. They really want to get it to the face of it. But it's going to come up about 4 feet light.
Good sweeping. Okay. You said you got 13?
18. 8. Just roll into that. Come on, look. I don't mind that. I don't hate that. Both. Okay, well, let's do this. Okay, I don't mind that.
So this is an interesting scenario, Terry. There's only 1 red stone left, 1 blue stone left. Red's line 2. And I know that Kessa's looking at those 2 blue stones and going, I don't like leaving those there at all. And she's right, but you got to be careful how you hit this and which one you hit. So they're definitely picking the right one. They're hitting the one on the outside and trying to roll in behind.
Yeah, I think Bill's calling a timeout.
Do you see any other option?
Timeout.
Okay, I guess that answers our question.
Well, they could actually throw the out-turn draw top 4 as well and completely ignore those blue stones.
Right. In which case, Carla would probably have no option but to try and run one of her blue in.
Right. Right now, I think they're looking at the center one as an easier one to run through, but I don't mind Bill calling a timeout here because I'm not sure that the hit is the right shot at all. And I think that's what he's thinking. So we'll listen to Bill Shearhart when he comes down and Diane DeZura for Team Thompson.
Just throw a guard. Because that's never getting a 3.
It's true. Bill doesn't. He called timeout.
You might have another suggestion.
Yeah.
I don't mind that.
We just have to bury it. Well, I mean, if she slashes in, this is never going. So.
In the back of Kessa's mind should be, too, that her draws right now are at 100%.
Yeah.
So if she feels comfortable throwing that draw
Well, that's
around,
the
I'm going to say that might be the right call for her.
Put it top 4. Carla doesn't have much.
What are you thinking?
Wrong with the shot that you want to play. I don't think it's worth it.
Okay.
Okay? Because we're up 8-3. We're line 2. So we want to make sure she doesn't play the shot she wants to play. So
Which
let's
is
throw it way out. All you want to do is get behind that rock.
Okay. And if we're dropping it short as pro, or let's get around it?
Anything to screw around with it, but let's get it inside that.
Okay.
Remember, make sure.
Here's where sometimes, too, you think about what is the other team hoping that I'm going to throw? And what are they hoping that I'm going to leave? And we always want to give ourselves the easiest shot and leave the tougher shot for your opposition.
That's what I'm doing.
Exactly.
Yeah, so if you come here, that's okay.
And so although an open hit
corner
seems like
under,
an
guys.
easy shot, things can go wrong. And if you throw the draw, you're better. You probably have a better percentage or a better tolerance area of where you can put that rock.
Especially when your draw percentage so far is
So right there's probably
100%.
Exactly.
Let's go mid-12 then. Okay. This is about the same ice as the other way? Yeah. So we gotta get a corner under, guys. Yeah.
If Kessa gets us anywhere touching the center line, it's going to force Carla to have to go out to the wide blue one and run it back that way. Because she's not going to have a lot of room to draw, that's for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be really important to see where this stone of Kessa's ends up.
Only place you don't want to be is deep.
Exactly.
Got room. Line's good. Yeah, go line!
There's that break point, Melissa.
Yeah, this one's going hard. Looks like the weight came off really quickly there.
Looks like she just slid in there for third shot, Melissa.
I think so. Got a little bit of a break. They weren't really worried about that rock halfway down, Sherry, and it's almost, I'm not sure if it grabbed or anything, but it sure looked like the weight came off very quickly.
You like trying a tough one for 2?
The ice shouldn't be changing at this point.
No, it's fine. No, it's fine.
So Carla's asking her front end to come down and have a conversation. She is thinking maybe she could get the triple and get a deuce out of it.
For 2.
Or she can play, I don't think there's actually any easy shot. There's a really hard shot for 2, a medium shot for 1, and I don't think there's an easy shot for any.
No, you think coming around, as you say, on her, I think it's her in-turn, she's a left-handed, to come around that way, she could probably get a good chunk of the forefoot, bite the button for her shot.
But you'd have to go out a lot wider, even another 6-7 inches, and they haven't played that path at all. So it would be a very different piece of ice.
What do you like better? Okay.
And I sense that Carla maybe just isn't feeling really confident with her draw weight right now.
There, I guess. Yeah, I think that should be pretty close. bump it right back on there.
So the front end, I don't think was a huge fan of her trying that really difficult angle triple to potentially get 2. It's a really hard shot. But again, this one's not a lot easier either, but she's going to throw just a bump back on the one that's on the center, straight back to the button and try and get her single. It's back 12 right now. That kind of weight, you have to get to the nose because it's too much weight.
Becky, keep going. Come on, Cam. Keep going. Every inch.
It's close, but just too much. Good weight call by Shannon Jonice, but unfortunately just didn't quite get to the nose on that one. So another steal for Team Van Osch.
50-50 for $208.
So they've added to their lead here in the 6th then at the 2018 BC Scotties Championship in Victoria, BC. And we will be right back.
That has to be the most Canadian thing I've ever seen.
Well, maybe if he was also eating a poutine.
Huh? What's that?
And drinking maple syrup.
And he's also
a curler.
Guys,
Oh, okay.
You know I've never actually been curling before.
And you call yourself a Canadian?
I'm sorry.
There's more than 1,000 curling facilities in Canada. Be a good Canadian and find one near you today.
And we're back here. This is the recap of the 6th end. Things weren't going that great for Team Thompson here in 6th, Terry. They really tried to get something going. But again, Team Van Osch making some fantastic shots. Get a little lucky on that one right there. Forces Team Thompson to a difficult bump back.
Right, Melissa, and I think she had great line on that. She might have just had just a little bit too much weight again, and unfortunately just slid a little too far.
Yeah, so another steal of 1 here in the 6th, and they extend their lead 9-3 over Team Thompson. Team Van Osch with the lead and playing just incredibly well so far in this 1-2 game. Just remembering that the winner of this game will go directly into the final tomorrow afternoon here in Victoria, and the loser will play in the semifinal tomorrow morning against the winner of the 3-4 game, Gouchelak-Brown, in tonight's game.
Yeah, those game times again, 7 p.m. tonight for the 3-4 and 11 a.m. tomorrow morning for the semifinal.
Line's pretty good.
Good throw, Trista. Good sweep.
So neither team really changing from their game plan here, Melissa. Team Van Osch going right into the house and Carla throwing up the corner.
Yeah, Team Thompson is very aware that they are in the 7th end right now. They don't have a lot of time left. So they're going to throw everything they can at Team Van Osch, who again is just playing so well. And Team Van Osch will just make every blue rock go away.
Good shot there by Amy, but a little bit deep. They're both again behind the tee line.
So Trista threw a corner guard on her first, looking to come around it here on her second.
Good. Shannon only, if anybody. So it should stop.
So they're calling Shannon only on that, Melissa. We've seen a little bit of that out there today where they're calling one sweeper or another. And was that to manage the stone hog line in?
Yeah, that's simply for trying to get a rock to curl a little bit more than, and we've seen this you see this all the time on TV now, where if you sweep a little bit on the high side towards the way that you want to curl, you'll get some more finish on it. But keeping in mind that a rule changed a couple of years ago where all players have to use the exact same broom head material now, so that there's no specific advantage for one team over another.
Right. The only time you're going to see another broom head out there is for a player's throwing aid, and they cannot use that broom in any way for sweeping or holding the broom in the house. That can only be used as a throwing aid.
Line's nice.
So the winner of this event, we'll know tomorrow afternoon probably around 7 o'clock. I think we'll finish that last one, and the winners will be going on to the Scotties Tournament of Hearts in Penticton at the end of January. So it'd be nice to have that in BC this year.
Yeah, the dates for that, Melissa, are January 27th to February 4th, and that's at the South Okanagan Event Center in Penticton.
Yep. Hard. Really hard. Hard. You got it still.
What a great fan base this week. Just the Victoria Curling Club and all of the volunteers have outdone themselves this week with so many good things, and the numbers of fans have been incredible.
They sure have, Melissa. I mean, you just heard the fellow calling for 50-50 out there, and I think the pots all week have been pretty darn good.
Line's good. Line's good.
But lots of family here for both teams, which is just great to see, and we saw support for all the teams here this week.
We started the week with 8 teams, the top 8 teams in BC playing off, and now we're down to the final 4.
Clear. Hard, clear, hard. Good.
And I'd like to point out that Laurie Seaman off Team Ludwar was awarded the Kay Giles Sportsmanship Award just before the final draw in the round robin yesterday. That award is presented to the player chosen by her peers who really displays the best level of sportsmanship both on and off the ice. We were lucky enough to have Brent Giles here, Kay Giles' son, to present that award to Laurie. So congratulations, Laurie. Well-deserved award.
Room! Line's getting better. Line's good. To it. Hey, clean it in there. Got it curl.
So Kristen's looking to lock one on these 2 red stones that are sitting just behind the tee line. Don't want to bump them. What a great shot.
Great shot by Kristen. She's really brought a great game here today.
No. You have to hit it super, super thin here. Okay. Feeling out. What? What?
So Kessa ignoring the stone
out,
that Kristen just threw there and looking to peel out the back one there, Melissa.
I'm actually not sure I like this call, Terry, in all honesty, because if you do that, even if you nose it or peel it out or whatever, you know where Team Thompson's going to go. And the more that they can build there, the more trouble you're going to be in if you're Team Van Osch. So I actually didn't like that at all. I think you should try and blast some of those stones over on the left-hand side of the sheet.
If anything,
Right, and what we just saw there was a very uncharacteristic missed by Marika.
I don't think there.
So here's Marika's throw, and she
because then this
Just
will kind of
it just seemed to run on her quite a bit, and again, it's the weight that she's usually used to throwing. So not sure if she maybe just got that a little wide on her right away, but again,
we haven't seen a lot of hits out in that path, Melissa.
For sure. I'm just really not sure why they actually called that shot anyways, Terry. I think they got to blast something, get rid of some of those. Even if they got rid of their red ones, that's okay, because they'd have their own red in front of the blue. So just change the dynamic over there a little bit. But
yeah, those red ones back there aren't really helping Van Osch at this point, are they?
Not at all. It's a great opportunity here for Team Thompson to get another one in there. Try and lock it on in the right angle so that Team Van Osch can't double them. Exact same throw from Kristen. Just wants to. Oh boy, she sounds like she's got a little bit too much weight here.
Clean, line's good.
Line's good. Tristan, anyone Tristan, but line's pretty good. It doesn't need to. Yeah, they can't.
Yeah, you can tell that they just got a little more weight than their last one. Don't want to bounce it too far. I need to curl another 3 inches just to get a little bit more to the face of it. So good opportunity here, I think, for Van Osch to at least get rid of one. I don't think they can get rid of the second one. But important to get rid of those red stones, actually.
Absolutely, and I think she might have heard you there, Melissa, because now she's making that call.
We're never, nose is okay. We want to hit it on that side. Well, what I would like to do, well, it's that way. Well,
I actually like
you like
the nose.
nosing it, Clea?
I like a little less than nose. Want to make sure this goes.
I like that.
Yeah. Okay. There.
Will mine come up that much with peel?
Yeah.
Okay.
You hit a 30, I'll flip it.
Okay.
Do you like their weight choice here, Melissa, throwing peel?
You know, they've been pretty much throwing peel on any time they have more than one rock in the house, and if that's what they're comfortable with, but you do have to move quite a few stones. But I think what's most important here for Kessa is she wants to keep her shooter in play. She needs another redstone in there as soon as these other ones go. That's a really good shot.
Nice clean throw by Kessa.
That's an excellent, excellent outcome.
So what do you like here? Melissa, what does your level 5 coaching tell us?
Well, Carla obviously needs to get at least a deuce here right now. And I think the way that it's in a position, if she can corner freeze to the one that's on the top 4 there on the right-hand side as we look at it. Looks like she's throwing a hit, and I'm not sure that she needs to throw the hit, actually. If she throws the hit, she's going to leave her shooter there. But actually what I think she's doing now that I look at it again, Terry, is she may be trying to nose the red one. She'll lose that one. And then this blue one, the red one will hit the blue on the way and actually get rid of both red
Spill
stones.
those, yeah.
The only thing with doing that, though, is it's great to lose both red ones, but you leave your blue ones grouped together, and there's a double opportunity.
Well, you've left both your rocks there. Do you leave a double for...
So the other option is to throw dart, like tap back weight, and just try and move things around a little bit. But let's see what she does here.
Looks like she left exactly what you were predicting there, Melissa, that it looks like there's a pretty good shot for a double there by Kessa.
Yeah, and even if she doesn't get the double, she'll get the hit and roll towards that one, and it'll be very difficult for Team Thompson to manufacture a deuce here. So, and they were sweeping, so they actually weren't going for the nose. They were trying to play exactly, but I think they may be trying to get that blue one to roll.
Yeah.
even farther over out of that 4-foot area.
Right.
Fairly thin right there. Fairly flat. But we can hit it pretty fat and roll there. Yeah. Yeah, about that.
So the other option here for Kessa is to take the other turn. If she says that it's pretty flat, which it is, if you throw the out turn at it, it'll actually come off the first rock flatter towards the second blue rock. So this one's more of an angle, just the way it's going to hit. So she actually has to throw it hard and hit, you know, 3/4 to even get some action on it.
Yeah, knowing how that rock is going to react when it hits the stone with the turn that you're throwing.
Close.
She's got the weight. What a shot.
No mistake.
It's a beauty.
Really nicely thrown stone there by Kessa.
So she knew where she wanted to hit it. She threw it extremely well. Great call by Kalia. And just makes the perfect double. You can see Team Thompson had a quick look at those 2 rocks that are on the outside 12-foot just to see who is lying third shot, and I'm not exactly sure who is.
Yeah, I didn't get a good look at that either, Melissa.
So even so, if Carla plays the double on these 2 in the 4-foot, there's a good chance she may lose her shooter unless that red stone's a catcher.
Right.
And it's pretty flat, so I'm not sure that it is, but she's going to give it a go. Carla Thompson's last here in the 7th end. I think she's might be nosing it. So it looks like 1 blue, 1 for Team Thompson in the 7th. And we have a 9-4 score after 7 complete here at the BC Scotties, presented by Best Western. And we will be right back for the remainder of the 1-2 game.
When I grow up, I want to be a superhero. I want to be a firefighter. I want to graduate university. I don't know what I want to be. I want to be an archaeologist. I want to be a scientist. Pilot. Coach. Carpenter. I'm going to be a curling champion.
Kids dream big. Your support will help them realize their dreams on and off the ice.
So Team Thompson gave it all they could in the 7th end to try and manufacture some sort of big end. They were set up originally for a deuce after that great shot by Carla Thompson, but an even better shot by Kessa Van Osch makes a fantastic double and almost makes it virtually impossible for Carla to score more than a single. She gives it a go, throws the high hard one, and just scores her single point to get a 1 back in 7, so a 9-4 score after 7 complete.
So back in the 8th end here, and Trista Van Dale's first rock just coming up just barely over the hog line. Melissa, I think they would have liked that a little bit deeper.
I think so too, Terry. I think at this point, though, Team Thompson just very happy to get some rocks in play, and as long as they can't be removed at this point.
Absolutely. Again, we're playing that 4-rock rule where any rocks outside of the house area between the hog line and the house cannot be removed until the 4th stone.
That's fine, Amy. That girl.
Amy giving another shot at that tick, but I think they're a little, I think it actually picked. They're having a look at the ice, give it a quick clean. So now there's actually 2 guards out there for Team Thompson. Very early in this 8th end. In any of our televised games, all teams are required to play a minimum of 8 ends.
Right, during regular round robin play, if a team feels that they just don't have the opportunity to catch up, they can concede the game, shake hands, move on, wait for the next game.
It's a nice shot by Trista.
You like that? Yep, just 9.
Keeping in mind here, Amy Gibson is only allowed to remove her own stone. She can't catch a blue one on the way.
Whoa! Clear! Clear! Hard! 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 Hard!
Well, she didn't remove it, but she did move it over from play, so she won't be completely unhappy with that.
The sweepers have backed off from this one. Really don't want it in the rings at all or anywhere close to the rings. Just a little heavy there by Shannon. Not happy with that one for sure. So we hit this one anywhere on the high side, Terry. Looks like both will go.
They should, Melissa, and as should the shooter.
Whoa. Yep. Whoa. Just one. I get both actually. Okay.
So she just hit that one way too thin to get the second rock to have any momentum or inertia to get out of there. So just pushes it in, but not a big deal right now for Van Osch.
So Team Thompson will just try and keep the rocks in play here and keep some stones out front, make it tougher for Van Osch to generate some points.
What's that? You like there, Clea? Yeah.
So I'd like to give another shout out to a couple more of our sponsors. Boston Pizza came on this year as a title sponsor for our juniors, and we really appreciate that. Another iconic BC company, Ambrosia Apples, has also come on board as a sponsor, and we thank them for that.
It's a good peel by Kalia. She'll be happy with that. Just trying to keep the 4-foot area open for her skipper if she needs to make a draw later in the end.
Yeah, I know. I was like, wow.
Looks like Carla was calling a little bit of a plan B here. She knew that it was running a bit straight, looking for that tick to get it over to the center. Good call by Carla there.
You could tell the brushers weren't quite sure what she was calling because they have called it quite heavy, but it turned out perfect. So another peel attempt here by Team Van Osch. Marika. I think if I wanted anyone peeling, it would be her.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to get a time on some of her stones.
Yeah, I
here,
think you're
Melissa.
right. That's a good shot. Almost rolled it into the rings. Okay, let's try and get a time on our next one.
Okay. So Carla just sticking to her game plan here, trying to throw up another guard.
And what's interesting here is if she can put another guard up, Terry, if you look at the high blue guard and even the red one that just ended up on Marika's, there's not an easy access to the forefoot right now. So
no, there sure
Team
isn't.
Thompson's actually got a good end here set up. So Kessa's going to have a look at that and make sure that she does have access when the time comes. It's a nice shot by Kristen.
Just a straight peel.
Great weight. It's really tough to position those guards sometimes on the really, really clean ice.
Just a straight peel.
So Marika's throwing the straight peel. She can actually even throw it the other way and maybe clip one of those that red stone on the way, but she's elected to throw the straight peel. What'd you get? What'd you get? Oh, 695.
695. That's a pretty firm hit, Melissa. You don't see a lot of the men throwing that hard.
No. And she's so smooth at it.
She's smooth and she's extremely accurate.
So I think Carla was discussing whether it was time to maybe bump that one that's sitting top 12, but I think she's elected to throw one more center guard.
Well, and I really liked your point, Melissa, about how that path to the forefoot is pretty tough for Kessa if that guard ends up right in a good spot on center line.
Over and off means it might just be curling a little too much. We've actually seen, it'll be interesting, Terry, because Team Thompson, who finished at 6-1 for the week, got to pick their rocks ahead of everybody else, and they obviously chose this set of blue stones. But Carla herself, for the most part, has overcurled multiple shots, and there, I mean, I know it's only like 2-3 inches, but she's missed a couple on those overcurls, especially that draw in the third and against 4. So they're going to probably have to talk about whether they think it's her or whether they think it's the rocks, and maybe pick a different set going into into their next game.
Exactly, Melissa, and that's the beauty. These teams do get to choose their rock set from all the rocks that they've thrown this week. And while they chose these ones today, we've certainly seen that just that little bit of overcurl from Carla, and they'll have a good hard look at that.
Overcurl is better.
Now these stones are supplied by Curl BC, so they're the same stones that are used at each championship event. So players that have the opportunity to play in more than one event, they might have a good opportunity to build their rock book, as it were, try and track those stones.
And again, Team Thompson did pick their stones first. These were the blue stones off of sheet A, and that's the game that they played against Team Gushalak to determine if they got first place or not. The winner of that game would have got first. So they obviously liked it. They beat Team Gushalak yesterday afternoon. So probably a good choice of rocks, but again, they're going to have to look back and just find out if it's maybe just Carla not quite as firm or as precise as she wants on her release, or if she feels that her rocks maybe are reacting different than the rest of the team's rocks.
Now they will have an opportunity to switch up those rocks, Melissa?
They will for sure. There's going, depending on what game they're in, tomorrow, and right now, as we see, it is looking like the semifinal. Depending on who they play will determine when they get to pick their rocks. They do not have to play with the same ones.
We're okay for line. We're okay.
Calling back 4. This one has a lot of weight on it, but if they can pick up the curl, it should be okay.
Doesn't really want to bring it behind the tee line.
But look how much it over curled and
really nice finish, but a little late.
So Kessa Van Osch just needs to draw any piece of the 4 to get her single here in the 8th.
I like there.
Now they're saying that those guards are high enough. They should have a path to get through and get to the 4-foot.
It's not really the middle one you're worried about.
No, it's the outside one. Do you like this ice?
We'll get a time on this draw, Melissa, and just see if the ice conditions have changed at all or whether they've held true.
Yeah, it's been a couple ends, I think, since Kessa has thrown a draw. She was very high in her draw percentage at the time. She really wants to make this, Terry, and score her point and maybe force Team Thompson to just make a decision of whether they want to continue or not.
Yeah, a 6-point spread with only 2 ends to go might see that as just a little bit too much. Got a 15 on that, Melissa, hog to hog, and it looks pretty good right to the button.
Sure does. What a great shot by Kessa, and that's it.
You called it, Melissa. Yeah, the girls know that that's just too much of a spread to come back from.
Yeah, so 1 here in the 8th for Team Van Osch gives them a 10-4 win in the 1-2 game over Team Thompson. And we will be back in a few minutes to talk to the winning skip.
That has to be the most Canadian thing I've ever seen.
Well, maybe if he was also eating a poutine.
And drinking maple syrup.
And he's also a curler.
Guys, you know I've never actually been curling before.
And you call yourself a Canadian?
I'm sorry.
There's more than 1,000 curling facilities in Canada. Be a good Canadian and find one near you today.
Rivals. Noun. A person or thing competing with another for the same objective or for superiority in the same field of activity.
The BCHL is back live on Shaw TV. Things will heat up on the ice as island rivals face off against one another up and down and all around Vancouver Island. 5 teams are all fighting one another to claim the status of island champs. Tune in for our monthly island matchup, only on Shaw TV.
No one will ever know.
We're back with Team Van Osch. I did get to talk to you because you guys did win. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So we've got the 3 sisters and Amy on the end. What's it like playing with a group of 3 sisters?
It's really nice, actually, because felt like we bonded really easily, and it just feels like part of the family.
Wonderful. And they're from Nanaimo, so you guys are going to be playing again tomorrow. What will it mean to represent BC if you get to go all the way?
It means everything. You know, you start the year looking ahead, going, oh, Penticton, that'd be great to be the home team. And then you get to provincial, you're like, oh, you know, Playdowns is just down the road, and you get to provincial, like, oh, that's like 3 games away. Oh, it'd mean everything for us. We've worked really hard, and all our sponsors have been really supportive, so we really would hope it goes our way tomorrow.
Well, you're very, very close, so it could almost happen. I thought there was a couple moments when Team Thompson was maybe going to come back. How were you two feeling throughout the game? Did you think, I don't know how this is going right now?
I mean, it's a long game. Getting 4 so early in the game for us, we know there's a lot of ends to go. So for them, there's always that chance, and we just have to make one at a time and hold out for the rest of the ends. So
yeah, I mean, it was definitely getting a little scary there for a little bit, but I had total faith in everyone on this team. I mean, we've played really well all week, and I think we're all just climbing. So,
amazing. Yeah, you guys had it. Any celebrations now that you've won? Are you going out to do anything special? No?
We haven't talked about it yet.
Okay.
We were a little surprised being the 1-2 game yesterday, so we haven't quite planned, one day at a time.
Well, if you need any recommendations for some good food or drinks, I'm going to let you know after the camera stops rolling. Wonderful. Okay, let's go check in with Terry and Melissa in the booth.
Well, Terry, they're a pretty happy team, I gotta say.
Well, especially Melissa, as you say, coming into yesterday, they really didn't expect to end up in the number 2 spot, but good on the girls. They came out here today and they put together a really, really solid game.
They did. They played so well. They were in the 90s for the majority of that game. Maybe a little falter in the maybe 7th, 8th end, something like that. But honestly, what a terrific performance by Team Van Osch. So just looking at some of the highlights so far, just after the last 5 ends, Kessa did not take her foot off the gas pedal. She made it very, very difficult for Team Thompson, forcing Carla to have to throw quite a difficult tap back, and she just misses it, giving up that another steal.
I think Carla's going to feel like she was just the other side of the inch a little bit there today, and real close on so many of those shots, but...
So then they went in complete defense mode, Team Van Osch, trying to remove as much as they can. Makes an absolute perfect double to try and force Carla to have to make an even harder shot for a point, and that's what she does. She gets her single back, but it's not enough. They were too far in debt at that time. So Kessa Van Osch on her shots in the 8th end makes a good one on her first. Opens up the forefoot for a little bit of scoring area. Carla Thompson on hers, just a little heavy. And on the last shot for Kessa.
On the last shot here for Carla, she just comes a little bit heavy, but she manages to hang on for the point.
And then here's Kessa's last.
Kessa's last shot comes down and she just throws it perfectly. She knows the weight. She's been throwing it all week and she comes right to the button.
Again, what a stellar performance for Team Van Osch. They will be playing in the final tomorrow at 4 o'clock. But don't go away tonight. It's 7 o'clock. We will be playing the 3-4 qualifier. Team Brown from Kamloops Royal City against Team Gushalak. And tomorrow, the semifinal at 11 o'clock. With the final, the championship, the winning team going on to Penticton at 4 o'clock. So we'll be back with you tonight, 7 o'clock. We'll see you then.